Chef Joe here on YouTube and Instagram. I'm going to take these wild ramps that I picked here in New York City and turn them into one of my favorite French soups, a vichyssoise, aka potato leek soup. But we're not going to be using leeks, we're going to be using ramps. If you don't have ramps, you could use the classic leek and just be substituting 3 large leeks in for this recipe, or scallions, or onions, whatever you got. But this is a pretty easy soup. I'm going to have a couple optional items, but it's going to be super, super fun. So let's run through the ingredients that I've got here. A half a bunch of ramps, or 3 medium to large leeks. Half a pound of potatoes, Yukon Gold are ideal, but you can use whatever you'd like. 2-3 stems of parsley, a quarter bunch of chives, 2-3 sprigs of marjoram, 2 cloves of garlic, a small handful of spinach, 2 tablespoons of butter, and a quarter cup of sour cream or creme fraiche. For the potatoes, just rinse the outside and give them a quick chop. The ramps, make sure they're clean, and then slice the stems and the greens and keep them separate. The herbs, we're just going to pick them off the stem and chop them. Save the parsley stems, chop it up. And the spinach, just make sure it's rinsed and dry. Our butter is always unsalted for cooking, and sour cream is one of our favorite ingredients in the house. We got our goodies ready to go. So we have all of our items measured out. There are a couple optional ingredients, which I'll explain when and where to use those, but let's get started on the stove. Okay, so we've got a medium-sized sauce pot on medium heat. We're gonna add our 2 tablespoons of butter. Add the ramp bottoms, or the leek bottoms, the garlic and marjoram, also the stems of the parsley, optional ingredient. Can I make it in 9 minutes? Only the shadow now. Always season as we cook, so salt and pepper now. If you weren't adding the spinach for that bright green vichyssoise, you might want to use white pepper, but we're going to do a green version of vichyssoise, so black pepper is okay. Just give that a quick sweat. Now we're going to add our potatoes.
Smells good.
All right.
We got 9 minutes though.
All right, so it smells really delicious. Just sweating the aromatics. We're not necessarily trying to cook anything right now. This is a soup, we're going to be pureeing it. So we'll add 1 pint of liquid. You could use vegetable stock, chicken stock, but we're going to use water for this right now. Don't make a gigantic flame. So just quickly bring that up to a simmer and let it simmer until tender. All right, the soup's just been simmering for like 5 or 6 minutes. The potatoes are nice and tender. Now while it's nice and boiling hot, I'm gonna add the ramp greens and then the optional handful of spinach. The spinach has a lot of chlorophyll in it, and it's gonna give that extra bright green color. Once those items are in here, just gonna cook it for like 10 seconds on a nice boil, and then we're gonna puree it and get it nice and silky smooth. And with the help of a little TV magic, it's pureed nice and smooth and has that beautiful bright green color. So our soup is seasoned, it's pureed, and we're gonna have a little fun with the plating. Like I said, we've got some optional ingredients, and we're gonna be adding some of those now for garnish. You don't have to if you don't have them at home. The classic vichyssoise is served chilled, and it's just leeks and potatoes. So we've obviously taken a little artistic license with that. So speaking of artistic license, so we're going to take our creme fraiche, take a nice big dollop, give that a kind of a drag and drop right down the center. We're going to take some salt and vinegar potato chips and just kind of dance them in the creme fraiche. Parsley, we got these big beautiful parsley leaves. Also dancing them amongst the potato chips and creme fraiche. And then tying it back into the ramps, we've got our pickled ramp stems. Just going to lay those in there as well. Just using a little artistic license, kind of dancing things back and forth. And last but not least, a little bit of chives. And then this is another optional ingredient. It's a ramp salsa verde. Chopped ramp leaves and chopped parsley, olive oil, salt, pepper, red wine vinegar, and ramp pickling liquid. So as I said, we had a little fun with this artistic license, but if you're just doing a classic vichyssoise soup, a nice spoonful of sour cream and a little chives or black pepper on top is a really nice way to make the simple soup look pretty at home. So have fun with it, get creative with your platings, just enjoy cooking. This is Chef Joe on YouTube and Instagram. Have fun, be safe, cheers.